Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pash On Podcast. Let's get started with your host, Brian Pash.
Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to another exciting podcast interview. On today's show, I am pleased to welcome Tom Kondrat. He is the global lead of advanced analytics at Urban Science. He's been with the company 14 years, and we're going to dive into some of the new breakthroughs that Urban Science is doing using machine learning and AI, because we know they're a data-centric company. Tom, welcome to the show.
Brian, thanks for having me.
So, Tom, let's step back for a little bit. You've been in auto for a while. Many dealers are familiar with Urban Science, but if there is a dealer who's not exactly sure what Urban Science is doing, because you serve both the OEM community and the dealer community, how would you describe it to a dealer who wanted to know more?
So Urban Science is a software and consulting company. We combine years of experience working with OEMs and dealers in the automotive retail space. We primarily focus on network analysis, so helping the OEMs understand network opportunity, planned dealership locations. And then in the dealer space, we provide software and consulting related to financial operations, marketing operations, and customer analysis. So we've been in business since 1977 and privately owned. Jim Anderson is still the CEO and involved in the day-to-day operations of the company. And the things that we do that are really value added in the space here is understanding daily sales in the auto industry, tracking that and reporting that to our clients.
Well, I love the fact you have analytics in your title. Many of the dealers know that I'm passionate about data measurement, have written books on Google Analytics, and have been the lead on helping dealers master the new analytics platform, which is buggy and slightly unstable. So tell us about your role. What is your passion that's driving innovation with the products that you're working on?
Yeah, my passion is data analytics, customer insights, loyalty analysis, all kinds of things related to predicting the near-term future at the household and customer level. We also do a lot in the EV space right now on trying to get a handle on EV demand, where it's hot, where it's not. But really, my background is in computer science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and forecasting. So I've got a team of really bright people that help me with all of this stuff. And we predict everything from likelihood for a lead to purchase to how many EV sales are likely to be in a dealer's market in the next 1, 5, and even 10 years out.
So, Tom, let's talk about this buzzword, which for you is the life that you lead. I know the work that Urban Science is doing, obviously with products like Sales Alert, Defection Alert, which we're going to talk about later. But people are throwing around artificial intelligence, with almost every product announcement, now with artificial intelligence. But you have unique data sets, like every vehicle transaction. You have information from connected car data. You have sales data from the OEMs, massive amounts of data. How has artificial intelligence built on what you've already been doing with machine learning?
So the way that we use AI is in the space of pattern analysis. So as people are about to make a purchase, clues in behavioral data, in their demographic data, give us an idea of timing of interest in, what they have an affinity for. And so the way we use AI, and it means a lot of things to a lot of people, it's a huge and very broad topic, and there's a lot of sub-disciplines in AI. We use it for pattern recognition and predicting customer behavior in a way that can be useful from a marketing or sales process standpoint.
So let's dig into that a little bit more.
Yes.
We know that urban science has these predictors, likelihood to be in market or actively shopping, possible high indication of defection. And this is very important today as more and more dealer groups are building a CDP, which just has transactional data. They need to enhance their CDP with BI strategies and tools. And Urban Science is a business intelligence partner. So the real question is, how accurate is it? For example, if you tell me that, hey, these 50 people are very likely to defect, and these 200 people are likely to be in market in the next 30 to 60 days, how have you done back analysis to see how accurate your predictions are, and what are they running right now as far as helping dealers get a competitive edge by having these heads up data sets?
Right. So there's that old adage, marketers, know that 50% of marketing's wasted. They just don't know which half, right? Well, we can tell you which half, right? So we can take a CRM or a set of leads and take half of those and say, you know what, there's almost no defections in this half that are coming. And so then you've kind of left with the other half. And then from there, we can definitely prioritize, we can take, the top 10 and 20% that are, left over there. And we can say that, in the next 7 or 15 days, 50% of your defections are going to come out of this group, right? So we kind of can cut it in half and cut it in half again. And then what you're left with is a really target-rich environment for folks that are very likely to defect in the next 7 or 15 or 30 days. So it's part of our process that everything we do is measurable. With a name like Urban Science, we have to be scientific in our rigor, or the name just doesn't match up to the reality. So test and control is a big part of what we do. And so, measurement is part of that. And, we can basically, take a set of leads down and get it to the top 20% that are really where you need to focus your short-term efforts.
Well, that's music to dealers' ears, because for the most part, dealers are understaffed. They have more leads they can handle. Knowing which leads are the most productive to go after is absolutely a piece of a strategy which is data-driven, not emotion or gut-driven. So let's talk about customer defection for a moment. During COVID, inventory availability caused some defection. Maybe when someone was always buying the same brand, when their lease came up, that model was no longer available because of inventory issues, forcing people to move into other brands. Pricing over MSRP, payments. What are you learning about the reasons? Let's just look ahead in 2024. What of those triggers that are associated with defection after someone purchases, and maybe you have a chance to survey them or inquire, what could you share with dealers to give them a little insights on what they should be thinking about in the year ahead?
So as we study defection, it's, well, you mentioned inventory. So let me start with inventory. So what we did see during the inventory crunch, the inventory shortage, the chip shortage, is that defection did take longer. So while dealers did have a challenge of having enough inventory to satisfy customer demand, the positive side of that was that the dealers did have some longer time to work because it wasn't like a customer could just jump around and find the inventory that they wanted anywhere. The time delay to defection was longer, but now with inventory levels rising again, we're seeing those time delays to defection shrink down back again. And really, when we started looking at this, I was, pretty surprised. The peak day of defection is as early as the third day. So in other words, if a lead comes in, that dealer, that dealer's chance to close is really highest in that first day or two, maybe even the third day, it's still pretty high. But after the third or fourth day, the advantage of that dealer, it declines and decreases pretty rapidly relative to the competition. So for dealers to know that, it's a short fuse, you have a very tight window to act, because defection starting at day 3, it really it becomes less in the dealer's favor at that point. So that's kind of
Tom,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, let me just jump in and ask one question, because as you're telling me this, it resonates with me and my thinking about the urgency when someone takes the time to submit a lead on a dealer's website. It's not because they're bored and they don't have anything else to do online. But then I've also heard other people recently talk about, hey, consumers are in market for 60 plus days. So from urban science perspective, I guess somebody could go in the market very lightly, touch around. Ooh, look at that model. Ooh, my lease is coming up in 3 or 4 months. How do you define that in market period? Because what you're telling me is what I would teach a dealer: take those customers seriously, pursue them very aggressively, especially in those first few days. Other people say, well, if they're in market for 60 days, I'll just put them in a drip marketing campaign if they don't pick up the phone in the first few days. What perspective could you add about this time in market from the data you see?
Yes. So from a analytic standpoint, if a lead is going to purchase in the near future, it's going to happen within 30 days, 90% of the time. So if that lead comes in, you track them for a while, track them over 90 days, 180 days. That 30 day is really capturing 90% of that. Okay, so yes, anything can happen over a longer time frame, but 90% of that activity is in that 30 days. But the large majority of that is in the 14 days after the lead comes in. So with all lead analytics, urgency is really critical. And the modeling that we've been doing, where we find the opportunity for true incrementality, right? So where you can really, that I word, that incrementality word, which is something that's important to us as measurement people, is in that 7-day window. So that 7-day window is when you can get the offer, get the communication, get the treatment, and change their mind and get them back in. So from an analytic standpoint, the modeling that we do, we focus a lot on a 7-day window, which is really short, and doesn't mean that longer terms aren't useful too, but 7 days is the actionable window in my view, the most actionable window.
Yeah, and I feel that the same way, is that do whatever we can through texting, email, phone to connect with that person before someone else sweeps them off their feet with a sweet offer. So let's talk about just this fact that dealers don't have the staff, resources, or focus to handle leads with the amount of intensity that is needed to close the highest percentage. You're not going to get all of them. But you have a product called Sales Alert, which is connected with most CRM platforms, which will allow you to tell a dealer, hey, the leads in your CRM that you're still chasing, hey, they've purchased otherwhere. at other local dealers because you get these daily transaction files. Let's talk about it a little bit. Is that something that you're updating the CRM daily? Is it in the CRM? Is it a separate alert? Because I'm assuming that this could be really simplifying where dealers focus their energies. And, if you're saying that a good percentage of those sales happen in 14 days, that must mean there's hundreds and hundreds of leads at any month a dealer is chasing that have already purchased. Tell me a little bit how the sales alert product helps dealers from wasting time.
So Sales Alert is this great productivity enhancing tool that gives daily feedback to let salespeople and dealers know when the leads that they have bought elsewhere. And what it enables the dealers to do that I think is super valuable is instant feedback. To know that this lead has bought somewhere else while it's fresh in mind, while all of those conversations are still very easy to recall. And that is a training tool. I don't know what could be better than that. To have that data within 24 hours of the sale happening, I think is a great value add there. Yes, we do interact with dealer CRM. So our tech teams spend a lot of time working on the APIs and the all those back end connectivities with the CRMs to get that technology to work. But Sales Alert is really kind of a unique proprietary system that Urban Science offers to have near real-time feedback on closed leads.
And Tom, I'm guessing when you mention it's also a training opportunity, if I'm a Ford dealer and I lose a sale to a CJDR dealer, that's one thing. It could be product availability. But if I lose a sale to another Ford dealer down the street, that's a bigger problem. How do you separate sales that were lost to same brand versus a defecting brand?
Yes. So we can identify that. We can identify the difference between a same brand defection and a competitive brand defection. That's through the power of the Urban Science data hub, as we call it. Really a core advantage is that we understand defection in the timing that nobody else does in terms of daily information. So to the extent that it's useful to the dealer to see we lost this to a same brand store down the street, or we lost it to a different brand. When we do the data analysis, we definitely see different patterns in the kinds of leads that are more likely to defect to a same brand and leads that are more likely to defect to a different brand. And so, and that's part of the new product that we're rolling out here called Defection Prevention, which builds off Sales Alert. Instead of just reacting now to what happened, we're making great strides in predicting what will happen to enable the dealers to get ahead of that before it happens and treat them and make them the right offers to prevent defection from occurring.
So let's talk about that a little deeper, because as a data guy, my brain starts spinning. Okay, the easy case to understand, someone has a very disciplined lead follow-up process. Another dealer of the same brand has a more laxed, and the person with the better sales process continually wins and, in a sense, takes that share that was potentially available to the dealer with the weaker sales process. I can get that. But there's also dealers who believe, hey, head to head, I have a good sales process. So when we talk about a consumer submitting a lead at, let's just use the Ford dealer. Ford dealer, they submit a lead to two different Ford dealers. Tom, so let's talk about this defection prevention when there are two dealers in the same market who believe they have a good sales processes. And I know you're not coaching dealers on what templates they should be using or the wording, but how does price and inventory impact that defection percentage? And is there something you could tell dealers about those patterns?
Yes. So inventory. So we have another tool that we haven't talked about, and we won't get too much into that, but we call it retail performance. And that tool is all about kind of operational performance, and less so about the specific marketing involved, but more about what makes a holistic good operation. Inventory is certainly the number one thing, right? Inventory, brings people into dealerships. We definitely see dealers that have more diverse inventory to offer. They get more VDP clicks, they get more traffic in, they get more phone calls. So for right off the bat, having inventory also can help with your traffic. And then secondly, once a dealer has inventory and enough traffic, we look at gross margins and things like the pricing strategy. After that gets into the whole sales experience. So I was recently at a dealer event. Urban Science hosts, we call them our dealer boards that kind of advise us, and we run some things by them. We get their feedback on things that we're doing. And these dealers began to talk about the sales process a bit like a dating experience, and I thought that was interesting. And it's sometimes the goal is not to ask for the engagement or get the engagement, at least on the first date. Oftentimes the challenge is get the second date, just bring them back for the second date and the third date, and then work through them over time. And the really good dealers in the data that we see do a good job as that second touch point, as that third touch point comes in. We see very drastic drops in defection, right? And so things like being transparent, being transparent on the pricing from the beginning all through the process, being clear about what inventory is available, when it's available, all of that. We definitely see patterns with that. But, the overarching patterns that we see is get those customers to call you back, to text you back, to walk in after that first touch point. We see drastic drops in defection for every incremental touch point, which isn't surprising. But we definitely see patterns in data when some dealers are better at that than others. And so that's a key metric that we use when we talk about predicting defection. And this product that we offer, in fact, called Defection Prevention, it's designed to get you that second date, if you will, right? Sometimes the first date doesn't go so well. You dip your tie in the salad dressing or whatever, and or you just something happens. But defection prevention is a tool, and it's like a lightweight CDP, if you will. It's I call it a lightweight CDP because of the activation and the data processing involved. But it's designed to get that second touch point, that third touch point when things go a little cold. And so that's where the incrementality kicks in, is in that marketing activation at the right time.
Well, Tom, I'm glad you made that clarification. And more importantly, you brought up CDP, because one of the things I've learned is that there's a new critical purpose for your AutoHook platform. And those dealers should be familiar with AutoHook, the ability to pop up a gift card offer for someone to come in for a test drive or a specific promotion. But, Tom, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that. In many of the CDPs, they have what I call level 1 identity resolution. They assign anonymous shoppers an anonymous ID, and then they need that person to put their PII in once to kind of unify that record. And the cool thing is I've been thinking about how do I get more consumers who visit a dealer's website to give their PII so then I can market to them more effectively on a one-to-one level? And then, you brought it up, CDPs, and I was like, man, AutoHook must be having a new life, because with an identity resolution tag inside of AutoHook, you can connect that former anonymous shopper now with a known person.
Exactly. So AutoHook is great at getting PII from those shoppers somewhere in the funnel, and getting that PII and allowing that unification and that identity resolution to happen, which then enables all kinds of other profitable marketing treatment. So absolutely, AutoHook is part of that. And we started the conversation talking about AI, and this is where my team, working with the product people at the AutoHook team at Urban Science, we're combining the two things together, right? We're combining the power of AI and predictive analytics with all the benefits of AutoHook, which is a lightweight marketing activation platform that's very cost effective and it's proven to drive incrementality in a very cost effective way. So by bringing the AI into this now, we're adding another amplification of efficiency by focusing the AutoHook on those consumers where we need to get them back again after that first touch point. So we're very excited about this product that's coming out next year that's going to do this.
Well, I'm excited as well, because I'm working on a number of CDP projects, and the more you understand the power of identity resolution frameworks on a dealer's website and the need to get them to share information, that first-party data or zero-party data, as we might want to call it, so critical. Tom, I'm loving how Urban Science is leveraging the latest movements in artificial intelligence, personalization, and data-driven predicting models to help dealers sell more cars in a digital age. If a dealer listening to today's podcast wanted to get more information on sales alert, defection prevention, or enhanced insights through intentional delivery of AutoHook offers, where's the best place for them to get that information?
So our website at urbanscience.com is a great place to go. It has a lot of podcasts and articles and things like this on there. We call it our Insights Lab. We have a lot of graphs and charts and results and case studies and things like that. And then I would say that's the best place to start, is through the website.
Well, I hope that dealers listening into today's podcast understand that efficient operations are going to be required to keep operating costs down. And I love that Sales Alert can help weed out the dead leads in your CRM. Defection prevention will help you make the most of those initial dates that haven't resulted in a sale. And those of you who are thinking about CDPs, depending on your identity resolution layer, this is a whole new reason to consider unifying your identity resolution pixel with AutoHook. Tom, thank you so much for being on the show today. Dealers, if this is the first time you're listening to one of my podcasts, you should know there are hundreds of interviews with automotive leaders, professionals that are bringing new products to market, and, well, just breakthroughs in new strategies for modern retailing. So make sure you just search for the Brian Pash podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Tom, I'm going to give you the last word. What's one thing that you want to leave dealers with as we close out 2023 that you want them to remember about AutoHook as they plan and operate in the year ahead?
So thank you very much, Brian. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you to the audience who's listening. And the one thing that I would just leave you with is that, through the power of science, we can help drive greater efficiency and productivity throughout all of your leads in your CRM. We make it very easy through this new AI technology combined with AutoHook that is really, I'd call it a CDP-esque or a CDP light turnkey platform that combines data collection, normalization, and household unification, along with AI-driven targeted activation through a turnkey solution that it's very easy and very cost-effective investment. So start with Sales Alert today, and then starting in the first quarter of 2024, look for this new product called Defection Prevention. You'll be hearing more about it. And thank you again very much, Brian, for the time.
Well, Tom, thank you. And I'm really interested for the next year. It might be good to have you at one of our conferences talking about some practical uses of AI and data-driven strategies. And I'm sure that you'll be talking to dealers at the upcoming NADA show in Las Vegas. So dealers, reach out to the team at Urban Science or visit them at NADA this year. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for listening in. Don't forget to listen to the dozens of great interviews we have on this podcast channel. And until next time, have a great close to the end of the year, and let's focus on how to improve modern retailing in the year ahead.